So I started out in the hunter jumper world. Technically, I did start in the Western world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I did in my very young age. I started showing at 6 and did all around shows, which back in the day, people would show Western and English and trail and showmanship pretty much all in the same day with the same horse. And so that was a fun time as a kid. I ended up moving into hunter jumper, and I did that through all of my junior years. I was lucky enough to have a horse and get to show. Did that and ended up getting involved as a professional, and I started teaching lessons and riding horses for another farm. This was also a breeding farm, so I got some very cool experiences in that way. And a very long story short, I kind of detoured out of the hunter jumper world because I bought a baby horse from the breeding program, and I wanted to learn how to start him myself. I had never done that before, and the way that it was done typically in that program was the baby horses would get sent off to some cowboy, and he would start them under saddle, and then they would send them back, and we would take it from there. And I wanted to learn how to do it myself, and that basically opened up a floodgate of learning for me. As I mentioned, I kind of just did this show thing and did what everybody else was doing, and I wasn't, not to say I wasn't learning and getting better, but I wasn't learning really new and varied things. I was just learning the same thing over and over and over. Get better and better and better at finding a distance and sitting quieter and all this stuff that is important, don't get me wrong. But I didn't learn about what I would consider now to be real horsemanship until I kind of went down this rabbit hole of trying to learn how to start a horse from scratch, and that took me a whole lot of different directions, where I learned about nervous system regulation, all kinds of stuff about biomechanics and how the horses move and how we move. And then it kind of took the direction of, I was very much in my head. It was very in my head, and horses and this little rabbit hole helped me find my way into becoming more mindful, becoming more aware of my body and all kinds of things, becoming more open-minded about other people. And I think in a way, learning how to be kinder to myself, because for a while there, I had a long time where I was pretty hard on myself about the way that I used to train with horses and be and all these things I did before I knew better. So that was a really big piece of getting to where I am now, is kind of accepting what I did back then, and that allowed me to get deeper into learning what I know now. So hopefully that was a quick summary of of a life with horses there.
Oh, and I would just love to say how I love hearing that from you because I had a very similar path, right? Just thinking that you have the dream job because you ride for this stable and you ride at these horse shows and you get to show these kind of horses and whatever. And, but I think, and I did have the same, like really disgust with myself for being naive and ignorant about like just how, with what I
It's
know now,
hard
how
to, once you know, it's hard to know how you didn't know better. That's the hardest thing.
exactly I know.
It's
Well, and
hard to, yeah.
but these experiences are exactly what make us able to go out and inspire other people to be able to skip all that, right? Because like if you haven't known it or experienced it and you don't see the contrast in it, it's really hard to be able to explain.